A woman may come to the same place by diverse ways. That sweet harmony of the lute may strike our ears with an elegant delight, though the hand be diversely applied. I would with all my heart have given thee the habit and power to play well, rather than the means of learning to play, if it were possible to be had without labour. Such labour and exercise that is moderate and continual. Be patient for a good long time. Yet it is easy to be obtained by her that is in this sort conditioned, if she hath no defect, and have that natural desire towards music. For the tuning of the lute, one must be very exact. For there is no perfect harmony in a family, in a city, nor in a commonwealth, if there not be a union, a sympathy, and a good accord. Likewise, if the lute be not perfectly in tune, it is impossible to play well, and instead of a sweet symphony, we shall hear nothing but a rude and hurtful tuning of the lute. You must begin by disagreeing noise, which discredits in the best hands proportionable to the lute. Then from that string you shall tune all the others, by thirds or fourths as the tuning requires. That is so that you have a musical ear. Otherwise you must tune your lute by unisons, stopping several letters as the tuning runneth. That the lute will take up the time of an apprenticeship before one can play well upon it is a very false aspersion. As by many years' experience, I can justify that an ingenious child may be made to play very well in 1/4 of a year. Now for your right hand, called the striking hand, lean upon the belly of the lute with your little finger only, and that neither too far from the treble strings, neither too near. And although you ought to lean lightly, yet carry your hand steadily, not sliding out of place. Also remembering to lean lightly upon your arm upon your lute, for otherwise it will pain the sinews and hinder your play. Striking with your thumb behind your fingers, say bass,
bass,
tenor,
tenor,
contratenor,
contratenor,
great means, small means, treble.
treble.
This done, then begin at the trebles and so go upwards and backwards, striking them string by string with your forefinger, and name them in order, saying treble,
treble,
small means, great means, contratenor, tenor, bass.
bass.
This doing so oft, downwards and upwards, naming them and also striking them. This perfectly had, learn to know your frets in order. The first fret is B, the second is C, the third fret is D, and so forth until you come to I, which is the last fret about the neck of the lute. But you may glue on more frets until you come to an M. Again, if you have 14, 16 or 18 strings, those basses are called diapasons. You shall also learn to know them by book, called tablature. For the frets, they must be 9 in number and so make the gamut, every fret making half a tone. For example, strike a string open and sing oot. Then skipping one fret and laying the finger upon C of any string, you shall sing re. Then skip a fret again and stop on E. It will sing me. The next fret where you shall stop on F will make fa. Then skip 2 frets and stop upon the H. It will make sol. And 2 frets more, stopping upon the K, will make la. You shall learn to handle your lute with a comely grace, ready to play with delight. And to this purpose, in the name of God, do as I shall instruct you.
We could try going around it twice and changing parts a second time.
Yeah, actually, that's good.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
We can do it a little slower if it's better.
That's a good idea. Okay. some rules for the sweet relishes and shakes, if they could be expressed here as they are on the lute. But seeing they cannot by speech or writing be expressed, thou wert best to imitate some cunning player, or get them by thine own practice. Only take heed, lest in making too many shakes thou hinder the perfection of the nose. I can see why duets they seem to crop up a lot in a way that indicates that they were used to teach students, because there are so many things that I learn from playing alongside you that's non-verbal, you know, but like I hear the way that you do like the onigal in your divisions. Like I notice it's kind of different from the way I would have done it if I played by myself, and then I want to match what you're doing, and that all of that kind of thing. Yeah. Like that is teaching me, just I don't know, it's like
I think playing together is a great way to pick up stuff.
And that thing about replicating the master, if you emulate the
cunning
what
master.
you hear from the cunning master, that's the way to learn. Like they even write that, and it feels like that. Okay, nice, yeah. Sometimes when I know I'm going to do something wrong, I'll just invent a different thing to make it fit in,
Yeah, like in the penultimate bar.
Yeah.
I love that penultimate bar. It's such a nice harmony against the It's a lovely moment. It's a great little duet.
Choose a lute neither great nor small, but a middling one, such as shall fit thine hand in thine own judgment. I had rather thou didn't practice at first on a lute that was somewhat greater, unless thy hand be very short. Howsoever, it is most necessary, at least for the beginner, to handle the lute often, yet never but when thy genius favours thee, that is, when thou feelest thyself inclined to music. Now you have a good lute, it behoveth you to love it and use it well, for by the usage you shall show your love. A good instrument will please a learner every way. Above all things, keep it from wet, for wet will spoil the strings and make loose the ribs.
So,
maybe if you have a look at all three again. Although really it's the Pavan that... Actually, maybe let's just get into the Pavan, because I feel like that's the one where I want I want your ear on it. Yeah, okay. It's coming on now, this. But,
great.
It's the one that's going to take the most, I think, to feel really reassured to be able to do it in the costume, you know.
Yeah.
No, I want to...
Yeah.
Really.
And it's a substantial piece.
Mm. Okay, that's something I'm struggling with actually, is orientating my right hand to get this chord. Because I don't want to roll it.
Yeah.
And I think then just like getting that separation right
Yeah.
is somehow a tricky thing. I'm just going to see where it comes from. Yeah, it's like somehow landing this in a sea of all these strings, getting that right,
Yeah,
and then at the same time landing that right.
Yep.
I'm sure it's just one of these things you've got to practice.
Yeah, I think
Somehow.
that exact transition, just take it in isolation. Yeah.
And then maybe also knowing to get this one,
Yeah.
it's like a string gap away.
Yeah.
There. Sometimes it's hard.
That's it.
I'm so prone to doing this rather than this.
That's it.
Okay, that doesn't feel hard when I'm getting it right.
That's good.
Oh, I heard something get lost then, which I
Yep.
don't want to lose.
Good. Good.
It's all the way through, isn't
You
it?
saved me
Yes.
having to say anything.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Just thinking about this.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely convinced by the way I'm really trying to make it just like sound like this is all just extra conclusive stuff, but really the ending is here.
Yeah. Yes. The thing that bothered me slightly was to do with pulse. That somehow, I'm not quite sure how, but somehow it felt as though the pulse got a little bit too much disrupted in that bar.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I felt like I took it too far into a way that you couldn't tell that what was written was what was written.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes you do written
yes.
under just too much.
Yeah.
That you've sort of rewritten.
Now I will proceed to the enabling of you to perform your time, and by a most exact, easy, and infallible way, which shall be as a touchstone. Take a bullet or any round piece, of what weighty thing you please, to the weight of 1/2 pound or a pound more or less, and fasten it to the end of a pack thread or any other string long enough to reach the top of the ceiling of the room in which you intend to practice. Then fasten the end of the string upon some hook or nail to the top of the ceiling, so as the weight may not touch the bottom of the floor. And when this is done, set it to work after this manner. Take the weight in your hand and carry it to one side of the room, lifting it so high as you can reach, then let it fall out of your hand, and you shall observe that this weight will keep an exact true motion of time, forwards and backwards, for an hour or two together. And that although at every return it strikes a shorter compass than it did the time before, yet it keeps the former exact proportion, for length or quantity of time, infallibly. A pretty strange thing, yet most certain, and easily proved by any. Now I say, having found out such an assured timekeeper as this is, let it be your director in all of your curious private practices.
Right.
Can I just have another go?
Yeah.
If I just take back to
That's completely clear. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think it's more than anything, it's the weight, isn't it, that you use that makes it sound complete.
And to be light on the semiquavers afterwards, especially the first two.
Oh yeah.
But you're getting that anyway. It's working very well. Yeah, it's lovely. Where does the B section start? Oh yeah, it was here. Just check it. It's very clear. This E flat rings to this D. And in the repeat as well. So I'd be using 2 fingers for this chord in order to make sure I don't accidentally obstruct this E flat. Yes, and then yeah.
Oh, I see.
I don't know how consciously you're doing that, but
No, I wasn't at all. Actually.
but clearly that's what the bass line's doing. So. Yeah, that's it. And on the repeat, it does exactly the same thing. Yeah, and then suddenly you have a coherent bass line. You go from B flat. And so on.
Okay, yeah. Where is it the second time?
There.
Oh, right, yeah, and they've written it in there. These lines are like having a lesson from
Yeah,
an old master.
they're so useful, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
But this one should ideally go on to here.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that completely, actually. Oh, Jen.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have a bass line that isn't coherent. Shall I grab a pencil?
Before you attempt anything further, taking your lute into your hand, enter into all your former exact postures. First, sitting in an upright, comely posture of your body, with your lute well set and firmly fixed between your breast and the table edge, your right hand placed over the bridge, your little finger set down in its proper place about the treble part of it, and your thumb spanned from it to the last string, from which place you shall first practice. By this time, I suppose, you are sufficiently informed in all these most necessary rudiments, so that methinks I hear you say, "Pray set and teach me a lesson." And indeed you are not far from it, and for the preparation of which, take notice once more of your music line, where you may see the full order of all your 12 strings together, according as we constantly use them. When you have done playing upon it, put it up into the case, putting the trebles a little down.